Good afternoon. I hope you guys can hear me. It's raining on this tin roof, so I'll have to speak extra loud, but I think it'll be okay. Forgive the poor audio quality, but we're going to do our best. Wanted to change things up again, just go off, get away from sports specific, and we're going to talk about speed. You know the drill. Amazon. Your student athlete, Michael K. Richards. Your Student Athlete by Michael K. Richards. Search that on Amazon and you can find my book. There you go, I did it. Alright, so speed. What is it? Basically, there's a few misconceptions about speed and how it works. You know, you'll hear a lot of coaches, sometimes they coach their athletes to take longer strides, and that's kind of halfway there. They're getting there. A really big misconception is to reach out. Like, I don't know if y'all can see my feet, but when you tell a kid to take long strides, what they end up doing is reaching way out in front of them and then hitting the ground, and kind of their body ends up trying to pull themselves forward like that, and that is how you end up with a lot of pulled hamstrings. What you technically want to do with proper sprinting mechanics is you want the athlete to propel with the foot that's on the ground. They're driving with this one and they're punching this knee up right here and getting it high, basically giving them time to propel with this leg that's on the ground. Okay? Man, it's raining hard. I hope you guys can hear me. And that changes a little bit once you get up into once the drive phase of the sprint is over and the athlete is running along, like say in a long distance, you know, that changes. It turns into more of a cycle then. But honestly, in most athletic situations, if you're not in track and field, things like that, or if you have a bust on the football field, you know, either something really good has happened or something really bad has happened in football if you're running over 30 yards, you know. You either gave up a bust or you busted a play open, one or the other. So, you know, we really, you know, while that is, yes, the technical definition of sprinting, what I just told you, it's a light version. We focus more on 10 to 20 yards with what we train up here at Elite Athletic Performance. We're way more worried about explosiveness, okay? So what we do is basically we're more worried about being explosive. We train what most people would consider more of a reactive type thing. We train with reactive drills where the athlete is reacting to an unknown stimulus, whether it's another athlete or whether it's a coach stimulus or whatever. That's kind of how we do that. So a lot of times having said that, that kind of, as some of you that know me well or you've been around to hear me coach some of our athletes in throwing and hitting and things like that, most of you know that maybe I oversimplify it, but I just don't believe in force feeding mechanics. You know, like there's a lot of times that you will hear coaches that will coach an athlete to take their first step. If they're standing with their feet together or their feet side by side, they're not in a staggered stance. They want that kid to lean or like roll into their start. And what you're going to end up with is, yes, technically that might end up being a little bit faster. You know, it's all about moving the center of mass. It's all about getting the body moving forward. That's the idea. And the coach, while the coach is on the right track, they are technically trying to teach something that could technically be faster. What's going to happen is when the athlete gets out in an on-field position, or an on-field situation, they're going to revert back to what they do naturally. And most of the time, that's what's called a repositioning step. And I don't have anybody here to put the camera on my feet. But what will basically happen is if an athlete is waiting here in an athletic position for the stimulus, what's going to happen, whichever way they need to react and drive their momentum towards, they're going to take a small repositioning step or a jab step. They're going to punch the ground right here with this back foot, and they're going to begin to drive their momentum forward, or whichever way they need to. If it's to the side, it's going to be this way. If it's to this side, it's going to be that way. And so instead of trying to coach, I guess what I'm trying to get at is we're not really we don't force feed mechanics, especially with sprinting, because like I said, you can hammer it and spend all this time that you could have been getting better at something else. You're going to force feed something that the athlete's not even going to use once they get on the field and and it gets live. Like they're going to revert back to their fight or flight instincts, okay? And so what we do is we use drills to nurture that fight or flight. That's what we do. And I really, really, really like it. I really believe in it. I really feel like it's the best way to go about that, because then instead of fighting with that athlete and saying, no, you're going to do this my way, we take them and we make them better at what they're already good at. We take them and make them better at what they're going to do subconsciously anyways. All right, so what we're looking for, we nurture fight or flight response. How do we do that? Back, many years ago, that would be more like, oh crap, a saber-toothed tiger's chasing me or whatever, Now it's more like, am I going to make this play or am I not going to make this play? That's our fight or flight instincts. And so what we do is we just basically, honestly, I'm going to tell you ways that you can build speed on your own at the end of the video, and it's kind of convenient for you. One of the best ways to do it is a way that you don't need, you don't even need cones technically. It's just tag drills basically, and different ways to go about it. And some of you have probably seen it on my Snapchat and Instagram that we use a lot of tag drills. And honestly, when you're trying to build speed, if you don't get the athletes that you're training, if you don't get 100% effort out of them in the training scenario, then they're not really getting better. And what better way to get an athlete, especially the younger kids, to go 100% than tag? There isn't a better way. And so we use a lot of tag drills. We will put them, one athlete down on the ground, and we'll put one 5 yards in front of them, and on the clap, they will go, and the one in back is trying to pass the one in front. We'll have them come from the side and tag each other, and the one in the taggee, the tagger is trying to get away. Basically the one that was in back is it, and that it's just tag. And it's phenomenal because they're both trying as hard as they can. They're both putting out maximum effort, and that is how you build speed. That's how you build anything in an athletic situation, really. When you're trying to train an athlete, if you're getting half-butt results or half-butt effort, then you're getting half-butt results. And that's the way it works in all training scenarios, but especially in speed. If they're not going as hard as they can in a training scenario, then they're not going to know how to go as hard as they can in an in-game situation. So, but I wanted to tell you about how we do it in the gym. Basically, all of our training classes, our speed and agility class, this is kind of the watered down version of it, but we will warm up. They're just like, it's kind of broken up into sections. We'll warm up, obviously, and that's crucial. That is absolutely crucial because, if you're going to train for speed, a warm-up's always crucial, but especially with speed. If you don't get your muscles pliable, if you don't get them ready to be put in dynamic situations, you're gonna pop something. And it's absolutely crucial that you get, we use some bands. We do these things called monster walks a lot. We'll do things to get their legs basically in every direction that they could possibly go in. The muscles that control that movement, we're trying to get them as warm and pliable and heated up and full of blood and liquid and fluids and all that as possible, to where those muscles glide well, no injuries, to where their legs feel good, the kids are full of energy. you know, get a little sweat going, and that way they're all healthy when we get done. And then we cool them down at the end, obviously, but that's getting ahead of myself. So after that, we will do some type of explosive drill. Usually what we call, it's a technique that I've learned called TAQs, the truth about quickness. Whether or not they have a huge carryover, I'm still kind of back and forth on, but I do know that they lead. It's a little bit of an extended warm-up quietly. I don't tell the kids that. They really like them. They, you know, because they're basically bouncing. It's like they want to look like they're on a pogo stick, basically. So we'll do some type of explosive drill, you know, just teaching them how to be explosive, how to use the balls of their feet properly, how to be in an athletic position. All right, so we'll do that. Then we have our fight or flight. That's when we'll break into some type of sprint drill, or we will, starting to rain hard again, so I'm gonna get up here close to the camera. That's when we'll break into our tag drills. That's when we'll break into our some type of sprint drills. Sometimes we'll sprint and I'll have them pick up cones while they're sprinting and tell them not to slow down any more than they have to bend over. Just basically nurture their athletic ability. We don't want to worry about a bunch of sprint mechanics. I mean, yes, they need to know sprint mechanics, but those kids are not going to use that in a game situation 9 out of 10 times. They're just going to go fast as they can and try to make the play. And so we don't spend a bunch of time on it. It definitely has its place, but when you have an hour with them, that's not the place. You know, when you have to warm them up, cool them down, get something done, you can't sit there for 30 minutes. And on top of that, the kids aren't listening. You know, like, unless it's some type of kid that's got, once they get up into the old enough to where they've got a, you know, a job interview with, you know, a professional team or a high-level college scouting combine or something like that, and they're truly honed in and trying to get better, then you're really wasting your time with a bunch of mechanics talk anyways. Kids don't care and they don't want to listen to it. So you're better off to make stuff fun for them and let them nurture their athleticism. You'll get a whole lot more out of them like that instead of banging them over the head and making them do what you want them to do. So so we will do that, like I said, our tag drills, stuff like that. And then at the last little bit of class, that's when we'll do some type of sled work or something. I'm really, really big on sled work. We move the sleds every day, every single day. We push sleds. We might pull them, we might push them, we might hook ropes to them and pull them to us. There's just a million different, we might push them with one hand. We might have a strap over our head with the strap going back here and the sled behind us. We might pull them like that to throw different angles and things like that to strengthen their bodies, but we will push sleds every single day. And this is a highly, you know, like, I don't want to go too far into this, but technically sled work is some of the best time to actually focus on sprint mechanics, because you actually are slowing down the sprint and you can actually teach them in a slower, you know, you can actually talk to them about punching their knees up and actually help them develop some of those sprint mechanics. So so that's when we'll do a little bit of that. That's the main thing, is just to teach kids to get their knees up anyways. That's, you know, like, and well, you got to get their hands in the right place. That's when it gets way too technical. You just tell them to throw their hands and chase their shoulders and punch their knees up, and that's about as technical as we get in most of our classes. So so once we finish our sled work, if there's any time left over, we will either do a like a ball catch drill or something else that's fun, to where I can kind of test them a little bit. I can throw the ball out a little farther and make them turn the jets on to try to get to that ball, get that competitive instinct, that fight or flight, make that kick in one more time, and then we will cool them down. And this is huge. Warm up is big, but I will say this. In 9 out of 10 times, your body will not allow you to do something that it's not prepared to do. So if you skip the warm-up, even though it's not ideal, your body will warm up. Like, you won't go as hard in a drill as you can until the body, you know, your brain just won't let it happen. The cool down, on the other hand, your body is in fight or flight mode. You know, cortisol's pumping, all these other hormones that are fluid, all these things are pumping in your body through your brain. Your body is on high alert, right? And and this goes for parents, if you work out, your kids, anything like that, do not let them get in the car, sat down, and they're still breathing hard. They have to get cooled down somehow, because their body, basically you have to let your body know that you're done working out so it can start recovering. It starts the recovery process if we spend 5 minutes, even if I make them lay on the ground and stop talking and take deep breaths, it will get their heart rate down and it will get their body switched back over into recovery mode. If you don't tell the body to cool down and to calm down, it'll be 2 or 3 hours before it switches over to recovery mode. Well, now they're behind the 8 ball. If you've got a kid in 8th grade or older, guess what? He's probably got to go to work out, or she has to go and work out again at the school in the morning. If it's 5 or 6 o'clock when you pick them up here, by the time their body gets switched over to recovery, it might be 8 or 9 o'clock that night. Well, less than 12 hours, they've got to get up and go do it again. And then, that is how we end up with this overuse injury cycle, because these kids, they're just not cooling down properly. So my point is, if there's something you can force, if your kid is going to work on speed drills at home, you have to make them cool down. You've got to get them to do just some light stretching. Foam rollers are awesome. If your kid is a hypermobile, double jointed type person, don't make them stretch a bunch. Just get them a foam roller, or even do some light, just make them stand on one foot. Something slow that's better than just don't let them go sit straight down when their heart rate's still elevated and they're still in a training mode. Make them cool back down, okay? So how can you do this at home? Say I'm shocked, and I want to thank you guys. Like, it's amazing to me. I've had 4 emails this week from 3 different states of people that are watching these videos that I didn't even, it's amazing how you guys have found out about us. I don't know. It's just an amazing way that the internet works. But first off, I really appreciate you guys, and I didn't realize there were so many of you guys that even if you wanted to come in here and work out with us, you're 10 hours away or 5 hours away. So, and you don't have a place like this to train. So, what you can do if you want your kid to get a little faster, those tag drills are absolutely the very best way to do it. They're probably the best thing that we use, and they don't, like I said, that you don't need any equipment to do them. So what we will do, my favorite ones, let me make sure we're on camera. Okay. So my favorite ones, the tag drills. You got 2 athletes, that's the best way to do it. You got 2 kids, okay? And they need to be relatively similar in speed. If they're not, just take the faster one and put him in a little bit of a disadvantaged position when they're being tagged. Or if they are the tagger, then have them backpedal. And that's all you gotta do. So and we've got 1 or 2 high school kids. Our 5 p.m. speed and agility class is all ages. And people ask all the time, like, well, I don't know, my high school kid, is he not going to be held back by working out with those younger kids? Actually, no, and it's probably going to be better for him, because what we're going to do in one of these drills, if we're going to do a tag drill, and the taggee is right here, and the tagger, the person that's going to tag and sprint, all right, they're going to walk up like this. They're going to tag, and then they're going to take off sprinting that way, and this person is either going to try to tag them or pass them. All right, so, and that's all it is. Like the tagger, this person right here is going to walk up and tag this person, take off as fast as they can that way, and try to get to the end of the sprint down there. Like, we've got a cone set up, and we say, look, if you make it to this cone right here, if you get to that cone before you get tagged or passed, then you win. And so, this taggee right here is trying to make it get to the person before they get to this cone. So if you've got this person that's being tagged right here, say that's an older kid and they're much faster than this one, or it's a younger kid and they're faster, whatever, but they're faster. Take this one right here, make them kneel down or lay down. Whatever, but the key to it is, and I didn't mention this, and I need to mention it just to make sure that we're clear. This person right here can't be looking at the person that's coming and tagging them. Most of you would know that, but that part gets forgotten sometimes. You got to have this person right here is facing away from this person right here. They don't know when this person is coming up. They know that it's about to happen, but they're waiting on that light tap on their back, okay? And so they don't really know, so that way they're reacting to that tap, and they're not reacting to a cone. It's not something that they necessarily know, where you say, okay, go, and then they go through the same drills. I always kind of joke around. I'm like, dude, you're not training speed and agility. You're just getting better at Dance Dance Revolution. You know, like you're just getting better at going around cones. You know, like worry about reaction. Train the brain and the feet to be tied together. So that's what we'll do. We'll have this person looking that way. This tagger will walk in, touch this person without them knowing, and then they will try to get to that line. Like I said, you can also do it like this. You could have the person getting tagged. How would you spell that? 2 G's, or I don't know. The tag E. We'll put an apostrophe. I know that's not right. But anyways, the person that is getting tagged right here is facing this way, and the person that is tagging, or the tagger, is going to come. They're going to sneak right here. They're going to tag, and then they're going to take off running. You know, and the same thing. There's a cone right there. Trying to get to that cone before they get tagged. You can do it so many ways. It's not even, you know, it's the possibilities are endless on what you can do. Just use your imagination. Just all you got to do is have them start from different angles, and like I said, even have the person that is, you know, if you've got them and you like maybe you don't want to tag, just set them up like this. If say you want to do one where they're backpedaling, have one person here, you'll have one athlete there, and have one athlete here, and the end line is right here, all right? And they're gonna go this way, obviously. On your clap, or on your whistle, or on your go, this person is backpedaling. This person is sprinting. All right, and that way, this person that's backpedaling is obviously at a disadvantage, but they have a shorter distance to go until the end up there, and so that way they can kind of, you know, you can train that. This person right here wants to try to catch that backpedaler, and this person is getting really good work at backpedaling, really good, authentic, game speed work. So hopefully that helps. And if you've got any more questions about this, like I said, drop them in the comments, let me know. I will try to do another video either tomorrow or Monday, but I appreciate you guys watching. And I'm going to do, the next one I'll do will be on nutrition. So we'll do that one next. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day.